Welcome to the Live Healthy podcast. I'm your host, Ann Marie McQueen. And today we have a very special guest all the way from Koh Samui, Thailand, Srinivas Bhat, who I encountered on a stay there earlier this year and had a session with. And Srini is just a really, really special person, spent 14 years as a monk, is a life enhancement coach, but it's very hard to encapsulate what he does and how he helps people in just a description. So I thought, let's have him on the Live Healthy podcast and share some of that magic that I had with you, Srini. So thank you so much for that time. I've used your tools. You wrote a piece of paper for me, and I keep finding little things on it that help me. Just the other day, I opened it and I saw that it said slow down right in the middle. And it was like, I needed that. And I wrote a whole column on slow down, and it's very simple. So I don't even know how to get in. So thank you. Thank you for speaking to me. It's a delight to be able to speak to you again.
First of all, Ann Marie, thank you so much for having me here on your podcast. Like I said, you didn't have to speak about me or talk about me to anybody, but you're doing all this because I feel it is coming straight from your heart. The most beautiful thing in life is when somebody does whatever they do from their heart, it reaches out to so many people. So first of all, thank you for having me here. My name is Srini or Srinivas, and I am from India. And I happen to be here in Thailand, and that is where I met this amazing person in front of me, Ann Marie, and in this beautiful setup called Kamalaya. Kamalaya to me has, I've been here around almost 1.5 to 2 years by now, but then I feel so embraced here because this is a natural paradise, and also the energy is high. I believe for any transformation to happen, there needs to be the cooperation from the surroundings around us and also within us too. What happened to you when you came here, Ann Marie, I believe, is you allowed the surroundings to embrace you, even as you did the same thing to yourself. That is why it was powerful.
Oh, wow. Well, what's funny is I was in a sort of a place and state a couple of months ago that's different than I am now. And we had a session booked. And then I actually said, Kamalaya is on a mountain. So we had to go all the way down. And then I said to you, I don't know. I thought that I had a session with you instead of Reiki, and I really wanted Reiki. And I said, I don't know. I don't know if I want to have this session. Like, I think it was labeled stress reduction or something. And I thought, well, I run a wellness and health and wellness website. I know everything there is about stress reduction. How could this possibly help? And you very patiently, we went all the way upstairs and we checked, and I did have the other appointment. And I was like, I felt like kind of a petulant teenager, but I was like, okay, let's just do it anyway. Like, why not? And then thank goodness, because it was completely life-changing. So I wonder, I guess, I was reviewing Kamalaya, so that it was booked for me. You probably don't have the same sort of song and dance, but thank you I knew you were special just the way you handled my not wanting to sit and talk about myself or my stress, or I don't know, like, I think I just didn't feel comfortable. And then you made me feel really comfortable. So that's one of your skills.
Well, what I did is just simply honoring your journey. There are not many people in this world who honor others' journeys. And that's because they don't honor their own journeys. So I believe in help only in a sense where it is beyond the word help, or beyond the fact that it is good to help, or it is nice to be of service to people. Most people are stuck in the idea of helping people, but it is only possible to really help people if we can go beyond the idea of it. And that is possible only when somebody can help themselves first. So that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted you to feel comfortable first. And again, at the end of the day, I am a person who believes nobody can help anybody. In the sense, help can happen only if it is a right timing for that to happen. And it is a right season for every one of us to realize, yes, it is time for me to be happy. For all the people, for example, who are here in your podcast right now, it is one thing to hear this as a matter of information about something nice, about someone helped somebody, right? But it is another thing if they can listen to this podcast, asking themselves the right question being maybe, how can I be happy? It can be a simple question as that. If we can ask or tap into the right questions about life within ourselves, but those questions should mean something to us. If someone, as they're listening to this, if they can ask the right questions or whisper them within themselves, the right questions or right desires, the universe usually has a tendency to answer them. And that is extremely humbling. So yeah, it's always been a pleasure. Interacting with you.
Well, I'll just mention that in my work, I've come across a lot of people who are in the helping sphere.
Yes.
And they don't all have the ability to sit with someone and honor their journey. That is very lacking, and it's disturbing in a way to me, because I think you get people who are really struggling who come across someone who can't hold space for them. So, off the top, that's just amazing, and it's something we should all aspire to. So
we cannot do that.
Pardon?
Sorry.
It's just not a given. It's not a given that you would go to a wellness center and see someone who would help you with stress, that who would just be there to show up for what you're going through. That's in my experience, not that common.
If we cannot do that, then what's the whole point? I'm just saying. Because the journey always begins from where we are. It never begins from, okay, now we are about to go there. No. It has to begin from where we are.
Oh, okay.
That's called the true journey.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, you were a monk.
Yeah.
Let's just talk a little about your approach and what's informed your approach to helping other people.
Yes. It is, I don't want to call it my approach, because I see myself as of course, I'm a teacher. I've been doing this from the last at least 28 years. But then I see myself more a student. And the reason I say that is it is so important for each and every one of us to understand, no matter where we are in being a teacher or being a participant of life, that we must never forget that we have to participate if we have to teach or learn. So there's something called you either participate with the flow called life, with different seasons through which you're being navigated in life, or you don't. And when we don't participate, we negate things. We are like resisting life, we are questioning, we're complaining, we are blaming each other, we're blaming ourselves, we're judging ourselves, we are resisting the journey and all that. And we are going too much into our head, more than feeling towards ourselves that we deserve to be helped. So my approach has been no different from how I participated in my life journey and how I am still participating in my life journey. It's all about, do you really believe that you deserve to be helped? Ultimately, it all boils down to that. Of course, we can expand on that. But I am a person, I believe that life can only help someone if they allow themselves to be helped. This may seem like common sense, actually. Things are actually very simple, but just because they are simple, we should not assume that we understand them all, right? So in just the same way, I believe that life can only help if we want to be helped, truly. The reason I say that is most of us, we say we want help. We say that we want to be happy, for example. We say we want to come out of our problems or our issues, or we like freedom, for example. But that is not usually what we communicate to life. Because at a deeper layer, we may be completely closed to life itself. And that is not in our hands. So we must begin our journey by becoming conscious to the truth about whatever is going on. So that's how I begin assisting anybody with their journey, to help them become conscious of the fact that they may be unconscious, and to become conscious of the fact that, yes, I have this goal, for example, to come to Kamalaya, this trip, I have a certain goal in my life. I want to lose weight, or I want to be free of my traumas, or I want to be better equipped in dealing with the changes that are happening in my life. But they may not have the perspective and the energy that is needed for them to solve that particular issue, for example. Even people who can come to reduce their weight and all that, they may have the know-how. They may be given the exact list of what are the things that they must do in order to reach their goal, but a deeper part of themselves may not be cooperating with it. And therefore, no matter how much they try, they cannot. So to say it in short, my approach is first to help anybody become conscious of where they are first. And then when they are not struggling with that, because it is usually something that we don't like to do. Like I say, we are born free. As children, we have always been free. But as we grow up, we are programmed to be controlled, to be in pain. So it is usually not a comfortable experience to go through that. But then what's the use in saying I want to be free if I'm not willing to pay attention to the truth, right? So that's where the journey begins. Yes.
Okay. And the truth starts with sort of, you said it's not always in your hands. And that is because you don't realize how little of your life is conscious and how much is being driven by the past. And so could you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Each and every one of us in the conscious layer, we want certain things or we don't want certain things. But at a deeper layer, there are so many layers there where we might have had a difficult past, of all my meetings and sessions with so many people from the past few years or decades. I've met very few people who have had very beautiful, only very beautiful and only auspicious things in their past. Because obviously, our parents cannot be blamed because they themselves have been controlled by their past too. So nobody can be blamed. This is not at all about blaming in the first place, So it is all about you are living in a house. Let's say this is the house I'm living, and I've decorated it because I wanted it to be in a particular way. What if I have zero idea about the things that are underneath the carpet? And no matter how much I decorate with beautiful furnitures and nice fragrance, sooner or later, I'm going to face the brunt. I'm going to have to face the reality that it is not as beautiful as I might want it to be. So it's like those are the things that are kept at the deeper layer, what I can call the unconscious, because we are unconscious of it. That's why we call it the unconscious mind. And so many things that the way we think, the way we speak, the way we act, the way we manifest things for ourselves in our lives. We're all extremely powerful, by the way. All of us are extremely powerful because we are co-creators with the universe. We are living a life which is a partnership with life, so to speak, because we are living in a universe where everything is influencing everything else. We have to pay attention. Let's say, coming back to the house example, I have to know what is there in this house. If I don't know, then I'll be driving blind. And therefore, I will inevitably manifest so many things in my relationship, in my personal life, in my career, or in the way I attract, or in the way I face failures too. Everything matters, for us to manifest all the things that we are manifesting. There's so many deeper reasons for that. And if we are not interested in knowing them, we will not be able to know or even feel them. It's not about something intellectual that we must understand, okay, I've gone through a difficult past, and therefore I have to transcend that, surpass that, and I will make it happen. None of like that, it's not like that. It is all about how vulnerable you can be with yourself. That is going to determine the quality or enhance the quality of your life. So when we begin from where we are, we can pay attention to the fact that, yeah, I may be a teacher from the last 20 years or 30 years, but I may be completely oblivious to the fact that I am having a lot of fear. What if I am not conscious of it? Then the universe or life cannot assist me to live a higher quality life, because I'm constricting myself. And if I am not giving permission for myself to live a life of joy, because I am holding on to my fears, the universe will not force me to live a life of joy, even if I am in the conscious layer saying, I want to be happy. There's going to be some obstacle or the other unnecessarily that's going to come on my way, and I may not know why. So that is why it is so important to become conscious of the things that we are unconscious of, because it is only as long as things are unconscious that those things or those patterns or those decisions or assumptions have a grip on our life. If they are conscious, if we are conscious of them, if they are brought from the unconscious to conscious and held with enormous respect and compassion, there is no way those patterns and those assumptions can grip our lives or even manifestations. So that is a magical thing, isn't it?
It is magical. Okay, so how does one begin to do this? What are a few steps?
First of all, you're asking some amazing questions. That is exactly what people should ask, Most of us are asking the wrong questions. Why is it that somebody is treating me the way they are treating me? Why is it that I'm not getting the right job opening that I'm looking for? Why is it like this? Or why not like that? We ask the wrong questions. When life is happening in a certain way, as life is happening to us parallelly, there is something else that is happening too, which we are not conditioned to pay attention to. That is all about the inner. So when the outer is being manifested the way we are manifesting it all, there's so many things that are happening within us. But we're living in a society where being vulnerable is not popular. Or it's not being encouraged, because not many people know the power of it. We don't have to announce to the whole world what I am thinking. I don't have to do that. Or even like Mahatma Gandhi, who wrote a book, My Experiments with Truth, and in it he shared everything about him to the whole world at the peak of his fame. We don't have to do all of that. We just have to be completely, innocently, sincerely observant of whatever is going on within, even as we are facing so many disturbances or obstacles outside. It is doing something in here. I may say it's because of him that I'm having this pain. It is because how I was treated when I was a kid that I am being so much conditioned like this, and therefore I have no freedom. But the reality is, it may be because of him that I am feeling like this, but it is because of him that I am feeling like this here first. So that means I must pay attention to what is going on here first. And the connection is this. If I pay attention to that, and if I'm beginning to see, yeah, I'm resisting whatever is going on, I don't even like to pay attention, because that's the truth. We don't like or we don't know. And when I pay attention to that fact, and slowly, the attention here is a very important word, because nobody wants to pay attention. Again, this attention is not an analytical word. It's not a logical thing that you have to pay attention to the phone or whatever is there in front of me. It is unconditional and respectful observation of whatever you may uncover. It's not about something new that you have to learn. That's what fascinated me like 28, 30 years ago on this path. Because it's not about something new that I must learn, and I have to be knowledgeable, I have to learn certain teachings and philosophies and then be wiser, and then one day I'll be free. That is not the truth. That may help. But what is even more important is what we can uncover within ourselves about what is already there. And when somebody does that, it feels as though the whole universe is going to help you. And it will, because you begin to come down to ground zero. That is where the rocket can be launched. We're all trying to launch the rockets from up above the ground. We have to come down to the truth. That's where this ancient Indian chant, it says asatoma sadgamaya, means it describes the journey of a truth seeker or a spiritual seeker. It says you have to start from untruth to truth first. And if you don't start there, no matter how much you may know, how much philosophy you may understand, or how knowledgeable you may be, or how a great communicator one may be, it's not going to be of use. So we must be humbly, be willing to courageously be vulnerable to ourselves, with ourselves here first. And then when that happens, it's like we're giving permission truly to be helped. So that's how it begins.
And I mean, in my own experience, it's as simple as when you start to feel an upset feeling, whatever it is, yes, like a frustration or a sadness. My whole life would be looking for a reason for that feeling, whether it's someone I work with or something that happened, yes, or I don't have enough of this, or I just need to, yes, drink this or do this. And stopping all of that and just attending, yeah, to the feeling and let it sit in you and experience, sure, it. But that is the hardest thing for most people. I know it was for me. Yeah. So how, yeah, do you do that? Like, I used to think, I guess the feeling would swallow me up. And now I realize, like, if I let that feeling happen, yeah, it will be over sooner than if, yeah, I don't let it happen and look, yeah, for at some point.
Exactly. You said it right. All those things can help. We may try and seek out help from others, or we may be busy, engaged in whatever we are doing, even though we may be passionate about it. So many people come and tell me, I am successful in what I'm doing. I'm quite passionate too. I'm super wealthy as well, but I feel a drag that is pulling me down somehow. And I don't understand that. That drag is because a self-induced drag, which we are not responsible again. And that's why it demands enormous compassion. If that compassion, we are people, we are a society where we are ever ready to give compassion to others, to be helpful for others, and to be kind, to be a person of value, to be really a good person for others, because there's so much suffering in this society. But we may not necessarily do that within ourselves. So to understand that first might be a huge breakthrough, a huge milestone first. You may ask people for help, or you may keep yourself busy, but at some point, Well, at some point we must be conscious of what are the things that are going on within that I am blinded to, because of which I'm manifesting things. And therefore, at some point, we should be okay to be conscious of those sources and work on them so that we manifest naturally, not try to, but naturally, by default, manifest beautiful things for ourselves. If at some point we have to do it, we might as well do it right now. You know?
Well, it's at the bottom of the list for so many people, and all you have to do is move it to the top of the list. Like, that's the thing. Yeah. You said something so beautiful. You asked me about my niece and nephew, and you said, imagine your niece wanted to spend time with you, and you're busy working, and you say, I'll see you later. And she sat on a stool, and you worked for an hour, 2 hours. And then you said, imagine if it was 5 hours and she was still sitting there waiting. And he said, you said that would be devastating, right? And I got like choked up. Think of my beautiful niece sitting on a stool waiting for me. But that's us. That's us not paying attention to the feeling.
Exactly. We don't give priority to ourselves. That's the most unfortunate thing. And that's the most painful thing too. That's what I said. We are ready to do it for others, but there is a part, we may not know that there is a part within ourselves that I don't like, you know, and it is okay, because we've been programmed in this world to think it's not okay to have the not so nice things inside within, you know. And therefore, we are naturally growing up as people who don't like the so-called not so beautiful things, who only prefer the beautiful things. It's like social media. What is happening in social media is what we have been doing all our lives. Actually, we want to portray ourselves to be somebody who's attractive and somebody who's beautiful. Let us say I speak about something that I'm scared about. I may not be embraced. So that fear may choke me up, and it's forcing me to try to be an appealing person or try to be a gentlemanly kind of behavior, you know. So what we are doing is, if we are like that naturally, it's amazing. But if we are not like that, if there is a fear that may be lurking, a fear that if I am seen differently, I may not be accepted, then a lot of my energy is going to be gone in suppressing so many things. So ultimately, it's all about energy. So therefore, there is no energy available for me to think beautifully. There is no energy available because I'm using all my energy to resist life, or to fight, or to find somebody to be blaming for what I'm going through, or blaming myself, or having a wrong notion of responsibility that I have to be there for everybody to help them. And if somebody is not really being helped, it's on me, and therefore feeling guilty or being a people pleaser and all that. We spend a lot of energy on all these things, and therefore there is no energy available to embrace the truth as it is. And therefore, there is no energy available to see the ocean, for example. You know, we go to vacations, we go to different amazing paradises in this world to enjoy, have fun, and take a break. But I really doubt how many people in New York City really are in New York City. How many people in London are really in London, because they may be busy in the thought noise that is going on all the time within. And we may not be present to the most beautiful smiles, like the smile of your niece. You may not be present because you may be busy in the thought noise, which is running like a generator engine within us. We cannot eat. We cannot enjoy whatever we are eating. We cannot enjoy whatever we are experiencing. Then probably that is not a good way to live, right? We deserve, if we have eyes, if we have hands, if we have a brain to think, we might as well enjoy it to the fullest. I'm just saying. And to understand all this at a deeper level gives you that energy burst that will happen because you see you're not fighting untruth, you're embracing the truth, and therefore there is a release of energy. That release of energy is love. That release of energy is intelligence, is creativity, is the smile that you're having right now. That is the energy. We are denying ourselves that energy, meaning we are denying ourselves life. We're denying ourselves life. There's a reason I say there's a reason why life is called life and not death, because it is alive. It is listening to us. It wants to help us. And it's like asking, please begin by becoming conscious of whatever is going on. Like the people who are listening to this podcast, it might, whatever we are talking might make them say certain things within themselves or ask certain things within themselves. What if they whisper to themselves as they're listening, oh, I want to live my life. I'm just saying, some participant who's just listening to you right now, who's listening to me right now, is like, wow, I want to live life. I really want to enjoy whatever I want to do. And I want to be happy. If that desire is really making them feel something, mean something, I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time that they're going to be helped in unimaginable ways, because the universe is listening to us all the time. And most of us are caught up with the how of things. The beauty of life is we don't even have to know the how. We just have to dream and desire happily, like a fresh. Sorry.
I can imagine some people I know that would be listening going, but Srini, how do you know the universe wants this? How do you know how the universe responds? How do you know? You can't know that.
Well, you do it and see. You should not believe me. So when nobody should believe anybody, actually. People need, that's why I said in the beginning of this podcast, we must arrive at our own questions. And when we ask the right questions, usually life responds in unimaginable ways. Usually we get lost in asking those questions because we are supposed to ask certain questions. Usually we get lost in assuming and in following what others are asking us to follow, what religion is asking me to follow, what my group of friends are asking me to do, what my school or college has asked me to do or perform. We just blindly do them. We don't question life. I'm not asking us to be crazy rebels. No, I'm asking, I'm inviting people to question everything in life. And it'll lead you to question, what should I do to be happy? And see, for example, we know this place is so beautiful and it's a place for beautiful sunrises, sunsets, but do I really know in a few hours how exactly the sunset here today is going to be? I have zero clue. So which means nobody knows what's going to happen the next moment, the next day, the next week, or whatever. Which means life is fresh. It's a live show which we don't know, that's unfolding every moment, even now, right? If life is so fresh, why don't we meet that life afresh? We're meeting with all the assumptions and the baggages and all that. So we must test it out. Whatever I'm saying, people should not believe it. Whatever you're helping people with, they should not believe it. They must test it out and see if it is true within themselves. If it means something, whatever I'm saying, if people who are listening, if it means something to them, it has to lead them to their truth of this moment, to their experience of life at this moment. It may be something difficult or something beautiful. It doesn't matter. If they are conscious of what they're going through, and if they if they can be their own best friend, wishing the best for themselves at this moment as they're listening to us, then as a result of that, naturally, beautifully, organically, there will be something amazing that will bloom in them, a sincere desire to be happy, and they should follow suit. And then one thing will lead to another. That's the beauty of life. Everything, there are no coincidences, right? Yeah.
Well, one thing I noticed since I left, and I've known it in and out, but it's definitely grown since I was there, when you're present to this unfolding, this freshness that you talk about, it's just so much more peaceful. And then you become aware of how everyone is trying to tell you what's going to happen. Yeah. Like that's what the whole world is. That's what media is, and social media, and your friends are telling you, everyone's telling you what's going to happen. And I have this little funny joke I play now where it's like, look at that's another person trying to figure out what's going to happen and present it like they know because they have all this evidence. Yeah. But we really don't know. And that's like a game that I've been playing because I'll get caught up, right? Like I'll open my email and I have all these newsletters and they're saying what's going to happen. And then I have to remind myself that no one knows.
It's a trick, it's a trap actually to get caught up in the world of assumptions and the world of conflict that we are, just because we may have lived like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that is the reality. And therefore, we have to question that. And the mind always wants to take us away from the present moment by making us be busy on worrying about what happened in the past and being scared about what may or may not even happen in the future. So in spending our energy in all of that, we don't have energy left to enjoy whatever we are doing, to live whatever we are living, So that is why it is important that is exactly why people must question, because we are living a life of habits, actually. A habitual way of being scared. And when there is fear, there is self-doubt. When there is self-doubt, there is guilt and all that. We have to observe all that. And the fact is, we have been going through that enough number of times all our life. And if we can sincerely watch this cycle of repetition, and how there is so much exhaustion in this cycle, then from there, from this observation of a genuine observation of the truth of what is there will arise a sincere desire to be free. But that sincere desire to be free will not happen naturally if we are busy trying to run away, trying to keep ourselves engaged and be a workaholic even, maybe, and or try to give a spiritual definition to what I'm going to accomplish and all that, be it in the spiritual definition or otherwise. It doesn't really matter, and it's not different. And they're not really different until we pause. Like you said, slow down, right? When you pause, you begin to see reality. And from there arises a sincere, innocent desire. And it's ultimately all about, can I prioritize my happiness? Of course, I want to help people. I want to do this. I want to do that for the family and everybody else because it's a good thing to do all that. But am I really prioritizing my happiness? Not really, actually. Not many of us do that because maybe we feel guilty to do that, or maybe we think it's not proper to put myself first in front of others, and therefore I have to be selfless and all that. It may seem like selfishness, but actually it is called self-worth. If I don't feel worthy of receiving and experiencing and enjoying life beautifully and auspiciously, how is it possible that I'm giving permission for life to help me live that way? So it's all about sincerity. Wherever somebody is doing an observation with such sincerity and innocence, I believe that is divinity at work.
Oh, That's beautiful. And when you fall out of it, something else that was really helpful was you talked about the 5 viruses. When I feel like I'm getting out of that, out of what you're just talking about. And when I think about I'm usually involved in the 5 viruses when I am, and I consider myself a really positive person. So I might be doing it like in a positive way, but can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the 5 viruses, it may be intriguing, but it's actually, it's 5 compelling habits that each of us as human beings have. Unconsciously, we're driving blindly, right? And therefore it's dangerous. What does it mean? We may be engrossed with feeling pity about ourselves. We may be comparing ourselves with so many people other than us, within our family too, or with friends, or we may be somebody who is complaining about anything and everything, and blaming somebody for the things that we are going through, or blaming ourselves too, or we may be into self-pity and feel guilty about things, so and comparison, of course. So all these are the reason I call them viruses is because they drain our energy and they corrupt the system. They corrupt the system in such a manner that they have the power to rob off life from us and make us into robots, or be mechanical and live a life which is just for survival. I'm a person who believes it's important to be alive as long as I'm alive. And when it's time for me to die, I must die happily. I mean it, and what else is life if we cannot retain or have or enhance the charm that we can have towards life? I believe no matter how adult that we may be, the day we think I'm supposed to be an adult is the beginning of the fall for me. So we don't have to be childish. We can be childlike within. Then I say we are better equipped to pay attention freshly paying attention to whatever is going on, and therefore also give us the opportunity to embrace whatever is going on. Because if we don't do that, we pile up more problems for ourselves. That's why it's called virus, because we go round and round and round and end up asking a bunch of wrong questions for which life will never answer. Life can only answer if we ask the right questions. And so, first of all, it's a huge milestone if somebody observes these viruses of complaining, blaming, comparison, self-pity, and feeling like a victim, and even accepts that. It's such a huge milestone, because we drain our energy so much by allowing ourselves to get sucked into each of these viruses. So it is in our own interest. We need to observe all this. And it's about reviving ourselves. We must participate in reviving ourselves. Otherwise, I met so many of my friends who are my age, but they gave me, at some point, they gave me a feeling as though they are 60, 70, 80 years old, not interested in life, and as though they're carrying the whole burden of life itself or the world itself. No, we are not in control of anything that is happening, but yet we are, because we have the option of paying attention and beginning the journey here. When we work on ourselves here, we naturally begin to feel nice here first, and then that inevitably assists in helping the world around us. We are all so busy in thinking about the goodness for the world at large in general. But if we can work on ourselves like this, by being conscious first to whatever's going on, then we not only feel good inside, but then we also impact and help naturally, by default, the world around us first. If we cannot do this, forget about the world transformation or whatever.
Right, because every person who does this contributes to a larger collective feeling.
Yes, absolutely. When you are smiling beautifully like this, you're giving people hope. and people want to, photographers love authentic smiles, right? Now, I love taking photographs. So I love when somebody is smiling so authentically, or somebody is really authentic within themselves. It shows in their face. And when we are living a life where we are rooted in authenticity than rooted in trying to impress and all that, there is such freshness in such people, and such people make a difference. Whether they know it or not, they're already making a difference. And that's beautiful, isn't it? That's so much hope for this world.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's just wonderful to talk to you. I think I want you to write a book, but you know.
Yeah, so many people have told me. Yeah,
sure.
I think it'll happen in time.
Okay, sure. I'll be lining up for that book. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, Srini. Take care.
You're most welcome, and I really appreciate all that you're doing. I wish you the best in this beautiful work that you're in.
Same for you.